Welcome to EN140, especially if you are one of my virtual students for the next week or so. So day one here, not anything too crazy. Pretty much the plan is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what EN140 will encompass, look at the rubric a little bit, and talk to you about the assignment that will be due on Friday about fallacies. So if you want to just skip ahead to the assignment, just scrub forward. I don't know when in the video it will be. I'm not that good of a YouTuber. So anywho, so EN140, this is rhetoric and critical thinking. And the way that I like to explain it is if EN100 was about establishing your craft, getting used to the craft, like finding your voice, EN140 is where we're going to learn how to play the game. EN100 is the basics. Here's how to play. Here's basically the basic necessities that you need to be able to play the game. Like here's how, like compared to basketball, here's how to shoot a free throw, here's how to shoot, here's how to dribble, here's how to lay up. Those are like the basics of basketball. EN100 is the basics of college writing. EN140 is now we're going to learn actually how to play the game, how the game is played. We're going to look at strategy and all that fun stuff. In fact, the very first couple essays, we're going to be looking at how to play the game. We're going to examine a game and kind of examine an essay to see how they play the game. And then later on in the semester, you are going to be playing the game of argumentation. So that is kind of the big plan for going forward. But the first week here, since CMO technically doesn't start until MLK Day, so it's still 3 weeks, we're going to kind of ease you in a little bit to the actual like hand-to-hand combat. There's also a little bit of like there's some heady things, like some conceptual things that we need to kind of focus on here at the beginning that we're going to take our time with to kind of make sure we digest it and understand it before we jump into the deep end. But let's first talk about the syllabus itself. I'll be posting this on Classroom along with this announcement video. But here is the syllabus, basically all the information that you need to know. Remember when we did the portfolio, you're going to do another portfolio come you're going to be doing another portfolio at the end of this semester. And one of the things with the portfolio was, hey, look at the course objectives and the student learning objectives and the expectations. Did I live up to those? Why or why not? That's a thing that you can keep in mind. But here is where those course objectives, student learning outcomes, and expectations are. This kind of tells you kind of how the course content will be laid out, how you'll get 15 hours of this, 15 hours of this, 15 hours of this for 45 total hours. The main thing we need to focus on, though, is the methods of evaluation. You already know this. You've had me long enough where classwork is about 5 to 10 points, where homework will be worth 10 to 20 points, and all major essays will be worth 200 points. You'll get 200 points at the beginning and you'll get 100 points at the beginning, 100 points at the end, 100 points for your first draft, 100 points for your third draft. Your portfolios, I said, I didn't make any progress from first draft to third draft. I changed the first draft grade to match your third draft grade because I take the higher of the two in order to help you out with the grade. But yeah, so that was just a nitpicky thing I had to talk about after reading your portfolios from last semester. But all major essays are worth 200 points and they'll be graded holistically. So here's some things that you'll be doing. You'll be doing a rhetorical analysis, which will be 3 to 5 pages. That's where I talked about how you're going to see how the game is played. You're going to observe someone playing the game and talk about how that author uses certain techniques. So you're going to talk about how that author uses cryos. You're going to talk about how that author uses ethos, pathos, and logos, how they build their argument, if they have any fallacies inside their argument and what those are. So all that fun stuff, that's what you're going to be doing with rhetorical analysis. You're going to be reading an essay and you're going to be stripping it down and breaking it down, talking about how they made their argument. That's the rhetorical analysis essay. Then you're going to do your research assignment. These last 3 actually all go together. You have the research argument, which we'll be calling it the causal essay. So you're going to look at what the cause of a problem is. Then you're going to propose a solution to that problem. And you're going to do that by using the information that you found in your annotated bibliography. But all 3 of these kind of go together. So the last half of the semester, you're going to be focusing on one major topic and kind of drilling down. So your annotated bibliography is the first one that you'll do. It's a minimum of 10 sources. So instead of looking at a 10 to 11 page paper, it's actually 10 one-page papers where you kind of talk about like, look at different sources and evaluate your usefulness and how you're going to use them and blah, blah, blah. The information that you get in your annotated bibliography, you will then use in your research argument and your proposal argument. Your research argument, like I said, will be a causal. So you're going to find a problem. You're going to tell me what is causing the problem. You're going to look at a bunch of different ideas of what is causing this problem. And that's what you're doing, is establishing here's the main cause of this problem. And then your proposal argument is how to solve that problem. So the causal is here's what's causing this problem. The proposal is here's how we're going to fix this problem. So you're going to propose a solution of how we will fix this problem that we are dealing with. And of course, you will also have the portfolio at the very end of the semester. Rhetorical analysis, right now, the goal is sometime in February, probably closer to the end of February is when that will be due. Back here, I have a rough estimate written down here in my notebook. Yeah, somewhere around the end of February will be your rhetorical analysis. Your annotated bibliography will probably be in March, right before spring break. Your causal argument will be the week after we come back from spring break in April. Your proposal argument will be at the end of April. And then, of course, the portfolio will be due in May if you are a CMO student. All right, but that is the syllabus. There's some more information here for about academic dishonesty, blah, 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 all that fun stuff, grading scale that you can look at your own leisure. Now, let's talk about the actual assignment that you have this week. So as mentioned, we're kind of easing into some of these ideas. So I have an assignment for you all to do. If you are not a face-to-face, if you cannot present this information, I want you to record you just reading off what your answers are to this. But here's what the assignment is. The plan is I'm going to upload to Classroom. This right here, this is a list of fallacies that tells you what these fallacies are. Fallacies are arguments that involve faulty reasoning. They're bad arguments. They're not good. They're weak arguments that people try to put forward. And so you have like ad hominem, bandwagon appeals, begging a question, either or arguments, false analogies, faulty causality, straw man, hasty generalization, and slippery slope. These 9 are probably the most common fallacies that you will interact with, but there's more than just these 9. What I want you to do is I want you to read these 2 pages, and I want you to come up with your own your own example of an ad hominem attack, your own example of a bandwagon appeal, your own example of begging the question. It does give you an example down here. It gives you kind of a definition of what the fallacy is, and it gives you an example of what that type of argument is. So I want you to come up with your own real world example of ad hominem, of bandwagon appeals, et cetera, et cetera. So one for each of these 9 fallacies that we have here, I want you to come up with. If you are going to be here by Friday, you have to present these to the class Friday. You have to turn it in on Classroom. If you turn it in on Classroom, you get the 10 point. I will grade it for 10 points, and then if you present it, you'll get an easy 5 points. That is the plan. You have to present these. If you're not able to be here to present it, just record yourself. You don't have to record a video of yourself. It can just be your voice. You can use your voice memos app or an audio recorder on the internet. You just type in free audio recording, and it'll bring up something that you can record your voice and read off what your fallacies are. So you'd say something like, my first example is the ad hominem. Of course, it's like this. And here's my ad hominem. My ad hominem attack is blah, 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 blah. So that is how you would go about doing that. So that is the assignment that will be due on Friday. So you're going to read the fallacies, and you're going to come up with 9 of your own examples, 9 examples that you can find that talk about those particular fallacies, and you're going to read them. The fallacies is going to be 1 grade. The reading of them will be another grade. So the fallacies are worth 10. The reading is worth 5, but still 5 easy points. You got to get them. Well, you can, as you saw last semester. That's all I have for you as of right now. If anything new changes, I will hop on here and record a video and let you know. If you have any questions for me, please email me at pdavidson.k12.mo.us, and I will see you next time. Later.